Welcome back to the HUD everyone. I'm Zacharoni, and I enjoyed playing games with good stories like The Last of Us, Bioshock, and To the Moon. But one game that had been talked about is Spec Ops: The Line, a third-person shooter developed by Jaeger Development. But before I go into Storytown, I'll first talk about the gameplay, which is enjoyable, but a bit too familiar to other first-person shooters I played. Character can get into cover with a press of a button? Seen it! AI-controlled character that can back you up during firefights? Been there! Enemy to explode into gooey pieces when using an explosive weapon? Oh please. And what about using the environment to your advantage, like sand to blind your enemies or shooting down the glass underneath their feet? Actually, I don't remember any game that does that really. Also, near the end of the game, I didn't realize that after executing wounded enemies, I was given extra ammo for my weapons, which comes in handy when I was running low on ammunition during firefights. Plus, I prefer to play this game with a controller because I found the mouse a bit too loose to use. Not even the options were that helpful, but I guess you figured that out already if you watched my leftover videos on this. So now that we got the gameplay out of the way, let's talk about the story. You follow Captain Walker, voiced by Nolan North, and its squad, Adam and Lugo, who are in the search of Colonel John Conrail in Dubai that had been destroyed by a massive sandstorm. But when they arrive at the city, they discover that the civilians are uprising and the army has taken things into their own hands, forcing our free soldiers to defend themselves to find the colonel at any cost. However, as I progressed through the game, I was questioning if I was doing the right thing because I was forced to defend myself from soldiers who think I'm working with the CIA. Civilians that I saved were not that thankful, and I was forced to make choices that will affect my actions. But without spoiling anything, it all makes sense when I got to the ending that turns it all around, despite lasting 6 hours to finish. Plus, I still feel guilty about what I did in Chapter 8. And those of you who have played this game will probably know what I'm talking about exactly. Overall, Spec Ops: The Line might not have the strongest gameplay, but it does have the strongest story that is worth seeing through to the end. It's just a shame that we don't see other modern military shooters take this approach because when people play COD, they think soldiers get some of the most exciting experiences. But in reality, they're just people who are trying to survive the harsh battlefields while serving their country. Well, that was short, given that I didn't want to spoil too much from that game. So let's talk about a game that I've been playing throughout the week that I didn't want to do a top-ends video on because it's best for you to go in blindly without little context. So Untitled Goose game, yes that's the name of the title, start off in the woods where I was shown a button prompt, and then after pressing it, I was shown with our playable character. Yep, you are Goose in this game, hint the title, who can pick things up with its beak, lower their neck up and down, and can lift its wings up for kicks. And when I arrive at a small English town, I can mess about with Grandad's garden, a lady's shop, and a small boy who would obviously have a phobia of gooses. Then I found out that this is a puzzle game, where I was given a to-do list of objectives like getting on TV, locking the shopkeeper in the garage, and making a person break a valuable vase because he thought it was a fake object. And every task I did successfully made me laugh unexpectedly because you are playing as a goose, who is the last thing to expect for doing all these actions, and I like how the music speeds up when people are chasing you. However, the game can be beaten in 3 hours, which is kinda short, but they make it up by having extra objectives for me to complete. Oh, and without spoiling anything, I love how they set up the final slice, where they block off the obvious paths and force me to take the route that they planned to finish the game. It was genius, really. So as you can tell, I love Untitled Goose game. It's a creative puzzle game where you get to humiliate an entire English town as one of the most evilest animals on the planet. And with that, that's your second helpings of Spec Ops: The Line and Untitled Goose game. I hope you appreciate my opinions, and if you like what you see, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. But until then, I'm Zacharoni. Enjoy your pizza, and I'll see you next time.